Hi, I'm writer John K. Today I'm here to do a retro review of Super Mario Bros. 2. Oh yeah! Before I get to the juicy center that is the review, let me lay some knowledge down on you about the Super Mario Bros. 2 name controversy. The way the story goes is that Nintendo of America felt that Super Mario Bros. 2, the Japan version, was too difficult for Western gamers. Obviously Battletoads hadn't come out yet, so they chose to redo another game and add a Mario theme to it. The game they chose was Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic. Great Japanese there. Because of this, you'll often hear people claiming that Super Mario Bros. 2 is not a real Mario game. The truth of the matter is, the game that became Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic was actually the prototype for Super Mario Bros. 2. Even Mario series director Kensuke Tanabe said so. You see, after the first Mario Bros., the development team wanted to take the game in a new direction. They wanted to make a title that emphasized vertical scrolling and throwing blocks. Strangely enough, the game was originally intended to be a two-player co-op game where the players could actually throw each other around. Unfortunately, when Tanabe presented the new idea for Mario 2, Nintendo of Japan didn't think it was fun enough, and they asked Tanabe to use the design for something else. Fuji TV had a popular anime at the time called Yume Kojo, about an Arabic family, and Tanabe used that as the source material. So you see, Super Mario Bros. 2 USA was in fact the original Super Mario Bros. 2. Okay, well with that out of the way, I can start the real review. I'll mostly be focusing on Super Mario All-Stars, but for your enjoyment I'll throw in some tidbits from the original NES Mario and Doki Doki Panic. I won't be showing the water scenes in Doki Doki Panic because those cause seizures. I'm serious, kids actually had seizures from the water stages. I had to play that shit, and I knew something was up, and then I was like, yeah, seizure time, that's what's up. Back to the fun stuff. Super Mario Bros. 2 is a huge departure from the original. While Mario Bros. Was just a left-to-right side-scrolling game, Mario Bros. 2 not only goes left to right, but up and down. One thing I love about this game is you can actually go back screens. You're not forced forward. The whole setup of Super Mario Bros. 2 is like a story. Each stage has a chapter name, and even the load screen looks like a book. It's pretty cool. Looking at the gameplay screen, you'll immediately notice that it's devoid of all the usual HUD information. It isn't cluttered with the number of lives you have, or how many points you've gained. It's just a window into the game. It makes the game so much more cinematic, almost like you're watching a movie. Yeah. Just love looking over the waterfall on this motherfucker. With my pimp cane, hell yeah. Goddamn rapist. What the fuck? Who said that shit? The game also has no timer, so the player can take his leisurely time as he plays through the level. They can test out different areas, look for secrets, and even move back and forth to reset items. Which you're gonna need to do, and you're not gonna catch all of them your first time through. Maybe not even your second time through. Heck, I don't even think I've caught all these secrets and I've been playing this for 20 years. I know a lot of people dislike how the point system is gone, but it isn't really necessary. Points are just added to an arcade game to compete for high scores. In an adventure game, you aren't competing against others. You're just having fun with the story. No one beats an adventure game and is like, dude, look at my high score. And speaking of the story, the one in Super Mario Bros. 2 sucks. It just plain sucks. I'm not even gonna try to hide it. Mario finds a stairwell, he goes up, finds a world that needs help, he then later wakes up, goes in a cave, what the fuck, finds the same stairwell, and ends up in the Subcon world. So his dream became a reality? Or he got incepted by Leonardo DiCaprio and the Japanese guy from Last Samurai. I think the story in Yume Kojo is actually better. The one there is that the kids are reading a book, and Wart decides just to grab them into the Subcon world. Yeah, he flat out takes them in the night. Well, it's actually daytime, but he is like Freddy Krueger. So the family, being Middle Eastern and having close ties, obviously just jumps in and goes after them. I feel that's a much better story. It's more adventuresome. Plus it explains why you can choose from so many characters at the select screen. But just because the game's introduction is terrible, doesn't mean that the presentation or storytelling is bad. Super Mario Bros. 2 makes several efforts to make the narrative more epic. From the stage-like drapery at the character select, to the chapter title cards, and even the little curtain animations before you actually go into the world. They all add to the special pacing of the game and help immerse you in the story. I love these short dramatic lobbies before you enter the stage. They're like small green rooms which only serve to tease you about what delights may come. Let's take a look at the controls now. So in the original Super Mario, Mario could run and he could jump, but that was pretty much it. I mean, he was called Jumpman. I mean, what more do you want from him? But now you can run, jump, grab, and even throw. You'll be doing a lot of throwing. Ah, shit, Phantos! Oh god. Man, what is with that guy? Is that his house key or something? There aren't too many tense jumping areas, and mostly you'll be dealing with solving puzzles, bypassing enemies, or killing them with items. Time delay killing enemies is always fun. Gotcha, bitch! You're not just limited to using bombs to kill enemies. You get sprouts, vegetables, mushroom blocks, starmen, POW blocks, bombs, keys, other enemies, and shells. Though in the original Doki Doki Panic, the shells are severed heads. That's... I don't know what... is that a head? What the... You'll also have a large variety of items which you can pick up. You'll have potions, casino coins, 1-ups, hearts, cherries, POW blocks, stopwatches, which are surprisingly worthless, keys, and rocket ships. Yeah, rocket ships. These were even in Doki Doki Panic. I have no idea how rockets are Arabic themed. One thing I really enjoyed about this Mario game was the character select. You get it after every world in the original, and in All-Stars you get it after every death. It may not seem like it at first, but this character select adds way depth to the game. Each character has weaknesses and strengths, and that leads to a different play experience each time. It's over, Wart. It's over!
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
When you played a level and died, you could just pick another character and use his or her advantages to overcome that obstacle. If you died in a pit, you need glide power. Pick the princess. If you died to Birdo because you pick up too slow, pick Toad. That guy's awesome. Sometimes after I beat the boss, I like to float in. Pro tip, if you time the pickup animation just right, you'll be invulnerable and you can bypass projectiles. Pretty sweet. That's the best thing about this game. It gives the player options. It didn't offer just one way to do things, but multiple ways. Each world has branching paths that allow the player to make the game as easy or as difficult as they want. The key thing about Mario 2 is variety. In the original Super Mario Bros., the gameplay was very formulaic. You went left to right on the first stage, then underground, maybe you got a water stage, but the layout was the same. With Super Mario Bros. 2, each world is unique and provides its own set of enemies, puzzles, and obstacles. Sure, you're still finding keys and fighting bosses in each world, but there are different circumstances around each one. Maybe instead of running straight to a boss fight like before, you'll have a different path. Perhaps you'll have to hijack a magic carpet. Yahoo! Dodge a barrage of Bezos. Ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ee, ah. Gonna make it, gonna make it. Ee, ah, ooh, ee. Survive a massive aerial strike. He's a Cinderella boy. He's a Cinderella boy. He's gonna make it.
What the fuck?
Or fly through the canyon on an albatross. This ain't so bad. Changing up gameplay like this is fun and refreshing. It helps the player stay entertained. Another thing Super Mario Bros. 2 did well was add new twists to familiar elements. It would allow players to become comfortable with a certain method and then turn it upside down. For example, the entire game you'd be picking vegetables out of the ground. So, towards the end, you become calm because it's a usual thing. But no, sometimes you pick it up and a bomb pulls out and explodes. Damn. Another example is the hawk mouth at the end of each stage. Throughout the game, you've grown accustomed to walking into it when the round is over. But in the last stage, the hawkmouth is actually a boss. You walk towards it, and what the fuck? It's a boss you're fighting. Oh shit! You know, in Doki Doki Panic, it's even scarier. It's some dudes like, God damn it! These little gameplay twists make the player want to see what each world holds. I feel that in Mario Bros. 1, I always would want to use the war points just to bypass stages in the game, because they all seem the same. But in Super Mario Bros. 2, I don't use the war points, because I want to see what the other worlds are. I want to fight the other bosses. Like Mouser. He's a giant sunglass-wearing mouse, and he throws crazy bombs at you. If you warp directly from World 1-3, you'll never see Mouser, or experience his hilarious squeal. While on the whole, All-Stars was an improvement, I feel there's some things they shouldn't have changed from the original Super Mario Bros. 2. One example is Mouser's voice. Ugh, terrible. Now listen to this old one. That's actually hilarious. And what's up with this colorful Lego backdrop? It's not even scary. It looks like a 5-year-old made it. This is what I'm talking about. This is more conducive to a boss fight. I mean, the boss room needs to be intimidating, You actually need to feel fear while fighting the boss. They even made the pause music in All Stars less intimidating. In the original Super Mario Bros. 2, there was a menacing tone when you paused the game. The new one just lowers the music, while the old one is pretty badass. Yeah, I remember just pausing the game to eat lunch and listening to the tone music. The anticipation and tension never dropped through each bite of my pizza. Pepperoni pizza. Alright, I'm getting sidetracked. Well, now that I've mentioned all the great things about Mario 2 and what it does right, I should talk about the few issues that the game has. These problems aren't game breaking, but they do get annoying. Number 1! Too much Birdo. While the game does host a variety of enemies, it recycles the Birdo boss way too much. I believe a complete playthrough has 18 Birdo encounters. I mean, the boss is an interesting character and the design is kinda cool, but it's not cool enough to merit that many battles. Birdo used to be a boy who wanted to be a girl. Now it's a girl with lipstick and a Pac-Man bow? God damn this bitch! Grievance number 2. Hearts. In Super Mario Bros. 2, they created a unique mechanic for recovering health. That is, once you dispatch 8 enemies, a single heart will float up from the ground, restoring 1 increment of health. Usually the mechanic works pretty well, but sometimes the heart rises from a hard-to-reach area, or even an impossible-to-reach area. I have had so many times where it spawns in a wall and just floats up, and I'm there, almost dead, and all I can do is just sit there and watch the health I desperately need float away. Oh, come on! Problem number 3. Shit disappearing. As I mentioned earlier, this game doesn't have the troublesome screen lock that was present in the original Mario Bros. This allowed the character to move back and forward, through doors, and even to previous areas. This was useful because it helped you respawn items in case you messed up, but it also presents an issue as it negates things that fly off screen. Throw a key or kill a boss and it goes off screen, it disappears. It is so annoying. This is especially true when you're trying to outrun the Phantos. You always have to make sure you know where you're throwing the key, otherwise you could get rid of it, or even worse, it gets stuck in the environment, in which case, you're fucked. With the Birdo boss battle in 7-2, you have to stay close to her, because if that key flies off screen, you're gonna do that boss encounter over and over. While doing this walkthrough, I had to fight her 4 times. So annoying. Problem number 4. The slot machine. While the chance of getting free lives every time I finish a stage is awesome, the method is so random, it's just frustrating as hell. I have played this game hundreds of times, and I still have no idea what combination equals a win. I mean, look, is this a win? No, this is not a win. That was a win? This shit makes no sense. The slot machine sucks ass. Through a straw. Worst case scenario, you have a lot of coins, you're gonna be in this slot machine phase for an eternity. And honestly, after a while, you just don't care. Why is this shit so long? Grievances aside, I still find Super Mario Bros. 2 a strong entry in the franchise. It took a chance on a winning formula and wasn't afraid to add new enemies or new game mechanics, many of which are still with Mario today. The most amazing thing to me about Super Mario Bros. 2 is that after so many years of playing this game, I still enjoy going through the stages. I mean, if that's not a sign of a well-made game, I don't know what is.